Welcome back to another Foundry by Forge College Explainer. Today, we are firmly putting our Solidity hard hats back on. We're actually shifting gears away from our previous lesson on Introduction to Solana Access Control and jumping right into the engineering blueprints of Ethereum. Because as part of our project testing and deployment workflow, we're going to look at exactly what it takes to build a professional, rock-solid testing infrastructure. You know, the kind of pipeline that ensures you don't completely lose your mind come deployment day.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Remember the pain from your recent capstone projects, where you stitched all those highly composable smart contracts together, crossed your fingers, ran an ad hoc test in your terminal, and basically just prayed to the blockchain gods that nothing broke? Let's be real. That manual testing approach becomes incredibly brittle the second your project starts to scale. Relying on humans to simply remember to run tests? Yeah, that's a guaranteed recipe for a weekend deployment disaster.
So here's our blueprint for today's factory tour. We'll start with the manual testing problem, then break down the anatomy of a test, look at the pipeline stages, dive into mocks and time travel, figure out how to measure test coverage, and finish up with your next steps. Let's go.
Section 1. The manual testing problem.
Look, testing in production without a fully automated pipeline is literally like building a car while driving it down the highway at 70 miles an hour. It's reckless. Relying on these ad hoc integration harnesses just means incredibly slow regression feedback. You end up making entirely subjective merge decisions based on your gut feeling rather than hard engineering data. And that leads directly into the absolute classic developer trap of saying, well, it works on my machine. We desperately need an automated sequence to catch these regressions early, well before they ever infect the main branch.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Test.
If we zoom in on a single minimal hard hat test, we really need to treat this as the fundamental base cog in our massive automation machine. This atomic unit has to follow strict, totally predictable engineering steps. First up, your imports. These give you stable utilities across any environment. Next, fixtures deploy a fresh, perfectly isolated contract instance for absolute determinism. Then comes the execution, where state actually changes. And finally, your assertions. If these checks don't pass, your pipeline needs to fail fast. No exceptions.
Now, what's really fascinating here is this concept of machine-readable artifacts. Because in a pro pipeline, these tests don't just print a little pass or fail for human eyes in a terminal window. No, they produce non-zero exit codes and structured data like JUnit XML reports. This means your pipeline orchestration tool can surface those exact failures directly on your pull requests for the whole team to see. So no more hiding your bugs behind a local console log.
All right, Section 3, the pipeline stages.
Now that we actually understand our single test cog, let's zoom out to the entire factory floor. We've got 4 distinct quality control checkpoints here, where your code gets increasingly rigorous inspections. It moves from quick pre-commit linting on your local machine right into pull request CI running parallel unit tests, then all the way to heavy main branch full verification, and finally, those crucial pre-release bytecode checks.
The overarching goal of this entire structure? It's all about balancing speed and confidence. You're configuring this orchestration via version control events. You want to run your fast, high-value unit tests on pull requests, so developers get immediate signals. Make sense? Then, if those pass, that exact same commit gets queued up for the expensive, incredibly deep verifications that act as the ultimate gatekeeper for your main branch merge.
Which brings us to Section 4, Mocks and Time Travel.
We all know the true villains of any continuous integration assembly line, right? It's those flaky, wildly unpredictable external oracles. So to deal with them, we bring in our hero, mocking. Mocking simply means replacing an external dependency with a deterministic substitute that you fully control. By swapping out a live price feed for a dummy contract, for example, your tests are going to run incredibly fast and, more importantly, reliably in CI environments.
Seriously, relying on a mocked oracle keeps your integration tests perfectly deterministic. Trying to use a live oracle in CI is honestly an absolute nightmare. It's terribly slow and it fails randomly, just because of network congestion. Using a mock saves you from those deeply deceptive builds that occasionally pass, but are actually hiding real critical bugs. Believe me, a test that reliably fails is way more valuable than a test that just occasionally gets lucky.
But wait, aside from mocking data, we also need to mock time itself. We use Hardhat's network methods, specifically EVM_increase time and EVM mine, to quite literally time travel. We artificially advance the blockchain's clock, so we can test time-restricted actions entirely synchronously. This is a game changer, guys. It completely eliminates the need to use those messy, utterly unreliable sleep commands that just clog up your testing suite.
Section 5. Measuring test coverage.
Okay, so our pipeline is fast and it's deterministic. Great, but how do we actually know what logic paths we accidentally missed? Well, tools like Solidity coverage give us an objective engineering gauge. This tool instruments your contracts and reports exactly what is untested, which helps us find those hidden control paths. It's definitely not just a vanity metric to flex your 100% coverage on GitHub.
Across all our Forge College courses and learning programs, we constantly stress the immense importance of reproducible builds and strategic testing. You've got to use these coverage numbers as signals to aggressively target your revert branches and edge cases. Don't just blindly chase full coverage for the sake of it. You need to prioritize testing the low coverage functions that actually impact your critical invariance.
Finally, Section 6. Next steps.
Before you go tackle the actual code implementation in your upcoming lesson, burn these key takeaways into your brain. Stage your tests by their cost profile to balance developer speed with main branch safety. Enforce absolute determinism using mocks. Always generate pipeline visible artifacts. And finally, take control of the flow of blockchain time to kill that test flakiness once and for all.
So, I'll leave you with this final critical question. Is your smart contract code truly ready to survive the automated assembly line? Think long and hard about how you're going to adapt these exact principles to your own projects right now. I highly encourage you to visit forge.college to dive deeper into advanced Web3 testing workflows and to explore all our other guided projects. Thanks for taking this factory tour with me, and happy testing!